Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Uh, Outside in the forest, it's freaking cold. I don't know how that Ralph Smart guy from Infinite Waters is always doing videos outside, but he must live somewhere really warm because it's getting cold. And you guys might have to get used to me doing more videos inside for the winter. Um, because yeah, I don't really like being out here too much when it's this cold. But I wanted to get out a video for you guys. I've been pondering over a couple ideas this past week, and I know I haven't gotten much out yet. I've really been focused on my numerology course, which is coming out soon. It's going to be a pre-recorded course on how to conduct Vedic numerology, how to decode your own life script, and you'll have about 9 to 10 plus hours of material for a very good price, in which I go through pretty much everything I know and I've learned up to this point. Same as my regular course, which is live, but this is pre-recorded so you can watch at your own leisure. Okay, and they'll be broken up into 30-minute segments, and they'll be coming out as soon as I finish it. Okay, so today's subject is being a shadow and a light worker. Okay, so when we first start out in this spiritual community, all you hear about is light working. All you hear about is positivity, spreading positivity, being very much so about love and light. Okay, and that's in and of itself could be considered a trap. Could also be considered a certain level that you're at, but more than likely it's been a hijacking really of the spiritual community, of the new age philosophy rather, for these people that are waking up, for these people that are digging deeper into the truth. Now they fully expected people to wake up, just like in the Matrix movie. The architect fully expects Neo to show up. He even tells him that it was the sixth time, or the sixth Matrix, that they had to reset, because Neo had woken up and had made it all the way back to the architect, in a sense. Now, if you're familiar with my approach or my perspective, more than likely you also believe that this architect is really the demiurge, is not the true source of this world, right? Even Jesus in the Bible was talking about how this is not my Father's realm, right? This isn't a heavenly place, or it's not a place of importance which you should place all your dedication into, or all your importance into, because there exists a world outside of this which is much more real. Okay, so the point that I'm trying to make really is that once we incarnate into this realm, into the prism, the light prism, right, where the light is fragmented into 7 colors that we can perceive, at least, the light prison, we have a shadow, right? The light reflects off of us and creates a shadow, and that's in essence our shadow body. Why? Because we are not fully integrated, we are not fully light as the light is, right? Even though it's been fragmented into the 7 colors, it's still unified light, not slowed down like we are, not fragmented, not distorted with a shadow body, right? Because if we were like fire, right, fire doesn't cast a shadow. If we were pure light, this is my theory, we would potentially be integrated, we would be fully integrated, and we wouldn't have a shadow body, because the shadow body exists kind of as an overlay on us. Okay, it's not necessarily something that's potentially inside us or anything like that. It's like this overlay. It's like, that's the thing with this misconception of being a light worker, that you just have to shine brighter, right? That's what the idea, the trick they try to implant, the program they try to give you to subscribe to, that maybe if I just put out much more light than I already am, then I'll be healed, then I'll be integrated, or then my life will be better. Well, no, here's my perception. You're a flashlight, right? And then you've taken a cover and you put it over the flashlight. Now all of a sudden the light is dimmer. Then you took something else, put it over it, until basically you don't even know that you're a flashlight anymore, right? That's how far down we've gotten potentially, that we don't see our own light anymore, and we think that we just need to shine brighter. But really what it takes is removing all of these filters from the flashlight so that we can fully shine our light, right? It's not about shining brighter, it's about taking off the shadow, removing the shadow body, or rather integrating it into the light, right? Letting it burn, or letting it fully sink into the light, kind of like the sun fully absorbing something, right? Or like a white hole absorbing all the darkness, in a sense. And some people may argue that, oh, darkness is just simply the absence of light. Potentially, but yeah, in this realm, it's like the darkness can cloud the light, in a sense. The more your soul fragments, the more you are pushed deeper into the depths of darkness, of lack of light, right? The less your light can penetrate through all of these filters, okay? So that's where the notion of being a light and a shadow worker comes in, because the more you work with your shadow, the more you really work with your light. Are there potentially things you can do with your light to increase it? Probably. But what is the path of least resistance? Again, not adding more source or adding more power to the light, not creating some huge power source. It's, again, removing those layers of darkness. And what are these layers of darkness? They are, the ego. The ego is basically the fragmented self. It's an illusory self, which has been created through distortions that are now being reflected to us. So imagine your idea of self is a mirror that is showing a distortion, right? Suppose you're a normal weight and that mirror all of a sudden shows you extremely overweight, and you think, oh, that's me. No, that's a false sense of self. That's not you. It's a distortion. Same with the ego, with the inner child. The inner child, when we come in here, a bunch of us come in here traumatized, right? We come into traumatic life situations, and they tell us, oh, it's for the purpose of learning and all that, but totally different subject, and I don't fully agree with that, to be honest. But automatically that then creates a shadow body, because as a child you were criticized, you were yelled at, you were manipulated, you were shut down emotionally, you were abandoned. That then creates fragments in our subconscious, which then reflects outside of us to show these false senses of self that we believe about ourselves, right? We believe that maybe we're not worthy of love, and then all of a sudden we see that mirror and we see it and see, oh, it's true because I see it outside of myself. No, it's an illusion. The ego is an illusion, and that's why it comes back to removing all of these identities, removing all of these senses of self, because they are like the shadow bodies that you are removing, right? You remove all the chatter in the brain, goes away, and what is left? The silence, the true self, the light, right? Then you are really a true light worker, because you can then activate your gifts. You can then shine bright your true sense of self, which is then working in the world how it sees fit. You are essentially embodying your higher self, or the source consciousness, like Jesus may have done, okay? And these sort of things can play out through, like I said, emotional abandonment. That's happened to me personally. In relationships, I attracted very emotionally unavailable partners, some to higher degree than others. And it takes being self-aware, right? It takes really being present and not needing to fight something outside of you, but rather going within and realizing this is a manifestation of something inside of me that was caused, again, from a childhood wound, right? So how are these situations playing out in your life in that regard, right? The emotionally unavailable partners were teaching me that I was emotionally abandoned by my father, right? I wasn't given the emotional approval or the emotional needs that, you know, I should have been given as a child. And then this caused me to really work harder for love, and the idea that I'm not good enough for love because I didn't do enough to earn it, right? Love was a very conditional thing for me growing up, and that then is reflected in, you know, in emotional partners, in relationships. So it's really, you know, recapturing these fragments of self, recapturing shadow aspects of yourself and facing them, right? Because when the moment you stuff them down, the moment you refuse to deal with them, it's the moment they cause holes in your system and in your aura, and these kind of, how did someone describe them? Sockets, kind of like electrical sockets, which these entities can hook into because they are there for them, basically, to withdraw your energy and to maybe even make them deeper, right? Because we come into this world with these traumatic families, potentially for the purpose of them slowing us down, of them recycling and using our energy. Because if we come into this in this world and we're fully healed, all of a sudden we begin to change this world. We begin to change the matrix. Imagine everyone on the street you meet fully healed, and the normal being love, the normal being a healing standpoint, a healing standard. No, they made the parasite normal. They made parasitic activity, the virus, normal, because that's what they are. They are the virus. They are the parasite. So of course they want to make their actions seem normal, what we see in everyday society, because they want you to be like them so that they can feed off of you, right? They want you to attack each other. They want you to be fighting with each other all the time, to be in the shadow, right? And who knows what their long-term plan is, because that really only leads to, you know, full consumption at some point, because you can only recycle a soul for so long until it becomes fully washed, right? So I guess they rely on adding new souls to the system at some point in their cycle. But in the end, they are a dying species, and they're kind of only prolonging their death, even though it may seem like infinity, because it's such a long time. Potentially why time here is so distorted, is so much longer. They may have even sought to prolong their own lives because of it, right? So that's pretty much the crux of what I wanted to say in regards to that, right? So it takes being self-aware, it takes being present. And I know I struggle with this as well, in terms of being present all the time. There are so many distractions in our world. You know, I may basically seek to learn as much as I can. I seek to develop my gnosis so that, you know, I am not deceived or manipulated. You know, it's in essence me taking sovereignty over my quote-unquote individuated soul, as I, you know, desire to return to source, really, when I'm done with this world, and pretty much let go of all attachments here. So it can be definitely hard to be fully present at times, but just catch yourself. What are those things you habitually do that are keeping you out of a state of presence, out of a state of listening to others, out of a state of awareness of what's going on, out of a state of, you know, being fully conscious, right? Because that's what Saturn is, that's what Satan is. It's a state of unconsciousness, and they want you to stay unconscious, because the moment you become conscious, they kind of have to start become conscious becoming conscious and becoming aware that, hey, what I'm doing is hurting these beings, right? And the moment you become conscious, they really run away because they want to remain in that unconscious state, right? So becoming conscious really is your biggest protection. Becoming self-aware, becoming integrated, leading to full sovereignty, leading to potential full free will. Because like I said many times before on this channel, this life is scripted, and it's scripted to extract energy out of you, okay? If you'd like to decode more of your script, do get a reading with me. I offer numerology and astrology readings. Do check out my course coming out soon if you want to learn how to do it for yourself and for others. You learn everything I have to offer, everything I've learned so far, and it goes much deeper than your typical Western numerology or astrology. This is ancient Vedic teachings that were, you know, some of the most accurate things that were directly passed on from, let's say, more advanced sources, potentially even the archons, potentially even whoever was feeding the Vedic people at the time, feeding them information, you know. And who better potentially to get the codes from than the actual code writers themselves. Or it could have been even higher. That could have been source themselves, or another figure like Jesus potentially. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it made sense. Leave a comment, like the video, subscribe. See you guys next time.